favorite songs that I
Sorry, I didn't realize you were a
started
super fan.
that I
I was
loved.
just coming in with a fun trivia fact.
Well, Andrew Gold, if it's the same gentleman who originally sang the Golden Girls theme song before it was the Golden Girls theme song was a pop song called "Thank You for Being a Friend," or I don't know the exact
That sounds right.
title of it, but he also did the song that I fell in love with as a child because my dad had a 45 of it. Which, for people listening, if you don't know what a 45 is, that means it's a small record. And if you don't know what a record is, go fuck yourself.
If you do know what a 45 is, take your vitamins.
Take
and
your
stretch.
Metamucil. Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna.
If you know what the little yellow, funky looking thing that looks like a Wu Tang Clan symbol that you put in the middle of it, that was real hard to pop in there. Um, I love that that's not how we have to listen to music anymore. I like that there's not multiple steps like cranking a wheel or something.
Yeah, it's great. It's convenient. I have a couple things on vinyl, but it's more like as a collectible.
Yeah, there's
I
some things that
Harvey
I
Danger is re-releasing the King James version on vinyl this year for Record Store Day in April, and I'm hyped. It's an album. I've already got the CD. I've got it. It's on my phone right now. I can just listen to it whenever. It's not like, oh, I cannot wait
when I was
to
in
finally
Michigan,
hear this 25-year-old
which
album I
it wasn't
already love.
originally released on album, so it's not like you're hearkening back to like that sound of the pops of the vinyl or whatever. But in Michigan, pretty badass record store slash DVD store that me and my daddy, my actual daddy, went to. They had two
Oh,
LPs
get
that
it.
I had been
How's it
looking
bad?
for by the band Fanny, which is an all female
Yeah.
rock group of the 70s, led by Fanny Hill. I have the albums on my phone. I don't need the LPs. They were $60 a piece, expensive LPs, not the most expensive LPs. And I was in line with them holding them. And I thought to myself, you're about to spend $120 on something you have on your phone.
Yeah. I mean, I'm
And I
excited
didn't.
for. I will be tracking down the King James version on vinyl
You'll
because
be
I
getting it.
have
You'll be dropping 50.
Merrymakers on vinyl, but that you could just order Merrymakers. But it came like Sean Nelson wrote new liner notes for it. There's like photos and stuff from the
Because
early
they're
times of
paying
the
me,
band.
I will be writing new stuff.
No, see, Sean's a great writer. I was excited to see what he wrote about, and it is my favorite band. It's like there's the Rilo Kiley is reunited recently, and they're going on tour
Yeah.
this year. And my wife sent me the ticket link. It's like I don't know that I want to spend $160 to go see Rilo Kiley in an arena with thousands of people.
Oh,
Like,
yeah, 100%. Talk for a second because I'm going to show one of the things I got because it connects, and it's not HPV.
but but I will be getting the Merrymakers on it, but also like Record Store Day. Support your local record store. But I also might not get it. It's the thing where like you go and record stores only get a couple copies of each. I don't know what the other. I don't know what the current situation of Harvey Danger fandom in my area, but I'm gonna be bummed out if I go and they don't have it.
So I got, and I wasn't sure if I had this on vinyl. I don't think I do, but again, I have it digitally, CD. One of my favorite Elvis Costello albums, this year's model, which has Radio, $8 at that record store. I have her entire oeuvre on my Apple Music. The artist Candy Staton, who does some great R&B. You see that? She's a great R&B artist. And then this, which I have numerous times. My dad has numerous copies of, but it's an original and it's in pretty decent fucking condition. And it's not one of my favorites. The Monkees Present for
Love the
$8.
Monkees.
This is my number one. And seeing a Monkees album in the wild, an original one in pretty good condition, I got this. Like I said, even though has some bangers on it, good clean. Mostly Nesmith songs are the good ones. Like Listen to the Band, good clean fun.
Sure.
I got it because I need to get it in the wild. I'm compulsive, but I also got it because I might give it to a comedy friend of mine, John Holmes, who in the wild saw the original pressing of the Monkees album soundtrack Head, and he got that for me. So I may give this to him because he's
Oh, it's nice
a vinyl
it's
guy.
nice that your friend gave you head. That was
Well, look, Bob Rafelson and Bert Schneider and
great
Jack
job,
Nicholson.
John.
who wrote and made Head, they called it that for numerous reasons. One of which was when they're getting ready to make
The
their
obvious
second
joke.
movie, The Easy Rider. If Head had done well enough and hadn't massively flopped,
Floppy head. Yeah.
they were gonna put on the Easy Rider poster from the guys who gave you Head.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
I mean, that is a hell of a called shot. That is like Buckaroo Banzai level confidence that like this is going to be such a success. We're putting it in the credits.
Masters of the Universe with Robert who is it? It's not
Frank
Robert
Langella?
Loggia. Frank Langella, the other Robert
Who
Loggia.
loved being Skeletor. I cannot stress this enough how much that man loved playing Skeletor. He brought it up in interviews for decades.
He played
Anytime people
Dracula
were like-
and then played Skeletor. He got to
like,
play
what do
two of
you
the biggest
think-
baddies.
Yeah, they're like, what do you think was one of your best roles? He's like, I had such a good time being Skeletor. I loved it when my face was a weird skeleton.
I would
And everyone's
too.
like, but that movie is like pretty. He's like,
Garbage.
Oh, I don't. Yeah,
It's
that's
hot
not what
garbage.
He's like, I'm just saying, I had a wonderful time. I'm like, I
So,
love you, Frank Langella.
Sylvester Stallone, because it's a canon film. Golden Globus, if you've never seen Electric 2 or Boogaloo, the story of canon films or whatever it's called, look it up. They paid Stallone an exuberant amount of money. So they were known at making garbage, cheap films because they cut expenditures like craft services, things that they thought
you gotta
inflated.
act hungry. No
inflated.
granola bars for you.
But sir, my emotions could be much better in this scene if my stomach were no. But they thought that was a way to make cheaper movies, was to get rid of the inflation that that.
To get rid of feeding people.
Yes. Well, there's just one of the things.
I know.
So
That's
they
one of my
paid-
favorite things about being on a movie set.
Is they paid Stallone a shit ton of money, and the movie he turned out was over the top. So they broke their own rules, and he made the arm wrestling movie. But he visited the set of Masters of the Universe because he knew Dolph. You know, he discovered Dolph basically for Rocky IV. And when he got to the set and he watched them film, he went up to him and they're like, "Oh no, you gave him dialogue? You should have like he should not be speaking.
You're letting him say, oh no.
You've messed up. If you saw what I did, I made him mute, basically. He's like, I'll break you.
I must
like,
break you. Yeah.
Yeah,
Like he
if he
gave him
dies, he dies.
a couple distinct lines.
I love
But
it
he's
because that's
supposed to be a Russian guy. Boxer is like fine, right?
And Russians
it's
don't
fine
talk.
that you
Yeah,
can't
yeah.
really understand, right? And famously, they don't talk. They certainly don't write the longest ass books ever created in the history of the world. No, but he is playing a guy from Russia in America,
Soviet
so
Union.
like the expectation that character would be verbose in English is like, well, no, he's just.
Right, the
You know,
robot
He's got to give. He's gotta give
speaks
some
more in the
close.
movie.
Sure.
The robot speaks more in the
Robot
movie
also gets
than
laid more.
Drago. Yeah, robot gets fucked by Paul.
That robot. Oh boy, Paulie's rocking that robot.
Yeah, and you know Paulie also tried it when it still had like the robot voice just to see if he was into it. And then, I mean, Paulie either hired someone to change the settings or the settings were that easy, or Paulie knows some technology. Like he knows some programming and like wrote some code. Like, I mean, it seems out of left field. But I love that Stallone, the hypocrisy of him making fun of giving someone like Dolph Lundgren too much dialogue. And he's like, hey,
Oh, no one's going to understand what you say. I can't do it. Any celebrity impression. But Stallone, keep your own side of the street there, clean buddy. No one knows what the hell you're saying.
But Masters of the Universe is such a garbage movie. But if I
I swear to God, I thought you were going to defend it. I thought you
No.
were going to go hard. And I was like, Bud,
Frank
look,
Langella,
hey,
here's my
Buckaroo Banzai superfan over here. I understand you can like movies that are not perfect, but
I like garbage. There is some garbage. The Guilty Grease too. We were at let me. Frank Langella.
that
The only thing is,
one of my friends, I believe, favorite movies. She has told me.
it's my number one guilty pleasure movie, and I think it's got a rockin' soundtrack.
I think I think you just like Michelle Pfeiffer in a little pink jacket is what you like.
Oh, I love how horny that movie is. Like Grease is horny. Grease 2 is pregnant. Like that is like Grease 2 is pregnant, has an abortion, gets pregnant again immediately after. Like it is.
So the plot of Grease.
Yeah. 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 No one's like, oh, hey, Rizzo, so you weren't ever pregnant? She's like, no, I'm just not pregnant now. And they're like, "Oh, because you weren't ever pregnant?" No, I'm just not pregnant
well,
now.
I was, and I'm not currently, right now in this during this musical number, not pregnant.
Not pregnant. Last musical number.
Yeah, earlier when I was real sad, that one pregnant.
We go together like rama lama 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 dinky dinky dunk.
Grease, by the way, Grease sucks.
Coat
Grease
hangers
2 is
forever.
worse, but it's the whole thing sucks. My sister was really into it, and I liked watching movies, so we would go to like the best thing you could tell little 9-year-old Glenn was like, "Hey, you can go to Blockbuster and pick out whatever you want." So,
But it's got to be Grease too.
no, I would end up. My sister would be like, "Can we rent Grease again?" I was like, "Okay." Like I like watching movies. I like spending time with my siblings. We can watch Grease again, and she would get really into it. And I was like, "Okay." I mean, like the songs are fun. I'm not going to act like they're not fun. But
Oh, it's great. Grease is great. Grease is
no, it's
top to
actually-
bottom
what
acting.
the thing
movie,
is that
so
it
good.
actually sucks.
No,
That's
you
the
are
point. That's
you
the
are
point I'm trying to make. is
wildly
that,
wrong.
It sucks.
What sucks
the
is-
message of it sucks. It's got John Travolta in it, so it inherently sucks.
What sucks is that Frank Langella did
Living
not
with John, though.
do. Oh no! What am I doing here? Oh, I'm pressing buttons.
Oh,
I'm
I
so
don't know.
sorry. I'm so
What are
sorry.
you doing? I was trying to
I'm
make
so
weird
sorry. There we
faces
go.
at the mention of Olivia Newton-John in that movie, and in general. I was on Governor's Island in New York one day for an event, and she was doing a concert there, and she was doing the sound check. And this would have been like, God, maybe 2009.
Oh, so before she died.
Yeah, while she was alive, and I didn't have kids yet.
Okay.
Um,
The happy times.
the before times.
The before
the times where I could like go to a weird picnic on Governor's Island in New York for an afternoon just because it seemed like it would be fun.
Governor's Island. What a great name for.
Well,
an
that's
island.
that's where they keep all the governors
the old governors. The governors
Yeah.
have retired.
in quarantine.
It's like a prisoner situation, like Patrick
Yeah,
McGowan.
it's a real escape from New York, but it's just it's like
Yeah.
LaGuardia's in there. Kingpin from the new Daredevil show. They got him there now.
the comedy club governors, where all the governors
yeah.
who are there go and perform.
Yeah, well, that's like a work release thing. Did you watch Daredevil last night? We record this
didn't.
Wednesday mornings.
But I want to, because I actually don't watch any of that garbage, as we've talked about before. You and I think off mic. You love that episode with Rosario Dawson where she's the night nurse, and it's all
Yes.
about him. Like, it's humanizing, like, oh, and he's got to
Oh,
rest
yeah.
for 3 weeks. And I'm just like,
Well, you're wrong. The Netflix Daredevil series was great. Rosario Dawson also great.
mm-hmm.
New one though. New
No-
one.
no-
New
no
Daredevil.
bueno?
New
No bueno?
Daredevil.
Born
Same
again?
cast, right?
Born
We
again
got Charlie
Christian
Cox,
Daredevil?
Who was it?
Vincent
Man,
D'Onofrio, who blocked you. Did we talk about that yet on the
Vincent-
podcast?
I don't know. Vincent D'Onofrio had me blocked on Twitter for years.
Is
I'm
he
not
still?
on Twitter anymore. I
Oh,
don't.
Your blue
don't-
sky.
I
You went over
never-
to the other political platform.
I don't know why
Mm-hmm.
he did it. I want to be clear. I think I might have mentioned it briefly. So just to recap, famous actor Vincent D'Onofrio, whose work I genuinely enjoy. It seems like a genuinely good dude. Had me blocked on Twitter for reasons that will probably forever be mysterious. Now I don't blame him, right? Like I'm not mad. I'm just like, how dare he? We never interacted. It wasn't like I might have said like I thought he was a weird casting choice for Kingpin,
Which you couldn't be more wrong, but
I still think he's a weird choice. He really nails it though. He is
Yeah.
great. I love seeing
he's a good actor.
big, bald, autistic coded Kingpin. I think he's doing great. I love the job that he did. But maybe when the casting came out, I was like, really? Vincent D'Onofrio for Kingpin? Huh. And if that was about me, right? If that robot movie that I did the other week, if somebody's like,
Which you text me a picture of, and it fulfilled exactly how I thought you would look.
they're like, Glenn Tickle's going to play a robot boyfriend? And that's a weird. I would block that person, no question.
Oh yeah.
I blocked somebody this morning because I said the new Daredevil looks like 10 minutes into the first episode. I was like, God, this looks so cheap. And somebody's like, oh, but you would defend Captain America 4? I'm like, I'm not gonna get in an argument with you, stranger on the internet who doesn't follow. Like, you're just blocked. I'm not interested
Also,
in discussion. Also,
I
look at the
don't
budget.
defend movies. Like I
Right.
don't
I
defend
defend
like
Buckaroo Banzai
I'm not a
will to the death.
superhero.
But I'm
Like
not. Yeah, Captain America 4. Here's my defense of Captain America 4 when I saw it, because I went to see that because it was in 3D, and I wanted to see if 3D movies would still give me migraines now that I have prism lenses in my glasses to help with migraines. And the answer is it didn't. I didn't get a migraine. The 3D added truly nothing to the experience of watching
Never
the
does.
movie. And I said, yeah, the movie's fine.
yeah.
But look at the budget of Captain America 4 and then compare it to the budget of of Disney Daredevil, and it's not going to be the same. It's going to be less. I didn't look up the numbers. I guarantee you they spent less money. But like the sets look like if you an extra bumps into them, it's just going to fall over. The suit looks worse. And
Ooh.
it's the same. It's still Charlie Cox, it's Vincent D'Onofrio. It's the same people. I don't know, creative team, if it's the same. I can't imagine it's the same cinematographer because everything looks like they used those anamorphic iPhone lenses that you used on a project a while ago.
Yeah, yeah.
It looks poo poo. The show might turn around, right? Like I don't know. I didn't have a good time watching it.
And now you must defend it in a cage match.
Now I got to defend it in a cage match. I mean, I like Daredevil, one of my favorite little super guys.
Hey, I don't defend, but I haven't watched it in a while, but I liked it then, and I've liked it the subsequent viewings. The Ben Affleck movie, like I like that movie. Like it's goofy.
It's not good, but it's
not
fun.
good, but it's
And
popcorn.
the people are like, "Oh, Ben Affleck's a terrible." No, he's not. He's a good actor. He's good at being Daredevil.
Yeah,
He could be better at the blind stuff in it.
but that's not his fault. I don't think.
For not being blind.
Yeah.
Charlie Cox does that. I mean, as again, not
Do
a
you
blind
think-
person, but my
Do you
eyes
think
are
people should
pretty-
be able to play blind, like seeing able-bodied people should be able to play non-able-bodied, like not like blind people? Do you think that, or do you think we should change casting that if you're playing, if a character's blind, the person playing it should have to be blind, be a blind actor?
Don't know. I'm not blind, so I'm not gonna set rules for that community.
You're not gonna defend,
Seems like it would be hard to do all the Daredevil shit if you were actually blind.
right? Because you wouldn't have Daredevil's power. So okay, what
But-
we need to do is when we recast Daredevil, we
If
need to
there's a-
find someone who's blind and who has superpowers.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. We're like, so God, Olivia, my 6-year-old, absolutely roasted me the other day. She was trying to show me something.
It's about time.
She loves it. It's her favorite thing to do. Besides, her other favorite joke is she's like, "Daddy, Daddy, Daddy." Well, I'm like, "What, sweetie?" And she farts and walks out of the room, and it's hilarious. But she was trying to show me something. I was like, "I can't see that," and she's like, "Do your eyes not work?" And I was like, "I mean, honestly, no. They're pretty bad. Remember how I keep telling you that someday you're probably going to need glasses because mommy and daddy are your parents? My older daughter just got them. And Olivia's like, "Oh, I don't want to get glasses." Then I have bad news for you about your genetic makeup, little girl. It's only a matter of time, if I'm being honest. But yeah, she's like, can't you see this? Like, nah, dog. I see 2 of them, and they're both pretty blurry right now, actually.
Can you hear this? Can you hear this if I turn it up?
But yeah, Daredevil, new Daredevil. I'm not into it so far. I do really like Charlie Cox as Daredevil. I think
I was gonna. I'll
he's
double
good.
back.
I think
and
Tristan. We were talking about it on the trip last week.
your boyfriend Tristan.
My little pal. While between smooches, he was like, "I don't think Charlie Cox's accent is very good," and I was like, "No, he's." I mean, because Tristan's an actor, takes it all way more seriously than I do.
Of course,
and-
Tristan's an actor. His name's Tristan.
Of
Like if I was
course.
writing a script about a young actor, like I'll name him Tristan,
You guys
the
gotta
actor.
hang out. You guys gotta hang out. It's gonna be hard because I think they fly to New Zealand like today.
Yeah.
But is Tristan was like, I don't think he does a good American accent. And that's how I feel about Benedict Cumberbatch as Doctor Strange. It's comically bad. Ewan McGregor, who I love, anytime he does an American accent, it's like, bud, it's cute that you're trying, but can you just keep being Scottish and hot?
Oh, what a good-looking man.
But there's one scene in the Daredevil, one of the first 2 episodes. He's on like a date with a lady, and I'm like, you're not even doing the accent in this one, man. It is pretty bad, actually. It all feels kind of slapped together. It's poo-poo.
So if I were Frank Langella, here's the one acting choice, talking about accents. I'm going to go back and close 2 tabs that we had opened.
Do it up.
I want live action, scary Skeletor. And when I say scary, I mean still like BDSM outfit like he wears.
Ooh, yeah, get some chains on there, daddy.
I want the no Skeletor voice. But I want him doing evil shit while still sounding like that.
Then you know who I think you gotta get. That's a Tom Hardy job. You need genuinely menacing.
Holy shit!
But
what
also
a good
doing
casting.
a dumb little voice.
Yeah.
He
man loves doing dumb little
voice. You know, there was a joke.
His best dumb little voices where he plays his own brother in a movie where he's a mob boss or something.
Okay.
And like his distinction between one brother and the other is a voice that's like, yeah, gee whiz, yeah. Like it's so good bad.
You know how the joke about like whenever Tim Burton makes a new movie and he casts Danny DeVito and it's like, what kind of hat am I wearing this time? And because he's always got a big dumb weird hat.
Yeah.
That anytime you get Tom Hardy, but I feel like he's like, all right, I got to play Skeletor. Well, Skeletor's already got a pretty distinct voice where it's all right, man, can you play, I don't know, like a train conductor? And he's like, all right, I got to think of the weirdest train conductor voice to ever exist in recorded history.
You're right and you're wrong. He goes, all right, I'm a train conductor. What's the sound of a train? Toot toot, chugga chugga. And so he's like, that is my inspiration. I'm gonna toot toot chugga chugga the fuck out of this character. And he's just like, oh, choo choo chugga chugga. Like that's how he like. I think that's
Tom
how
Hardy
he
plays
approaches
Skeletor. They're doing a live action. That's the thing where it's like every couple years we hear an update about live action He-Man, and then maybe it's probably never ever gonna happen. Who knows? Make it happen. Tom Hardy or Skeletor now.
I like He-Man. Nobody is questioning He-Man's pronouns because his name is He-Man.
You know?
Yeah, it's He-Man. So going back and closing another tab,
what's the other
Andrew
one?
Gold, 45.
Yeah.
The song that I loved as a child and made me real sad but loved it is the song Lonely Boy, if you've ever heard that.
I believe Puddle's Pity Party does a rendition of.
Oh, I will have to listen to that because that is one of my all-time favorite songs.
Lonely, but
Lonely Boy is about a boy who thinks
I imagine a lonely one.
He thinks he is his parents' only child, the only thing that they will be doting on and devoted to. And then at the age of, say, like 3 or 4, he is told that he is going to be welcoming a baby sister. And then he feels pushed aside and holds on to that anger until he is old enough to leave. And
I would love it if he wrote that when he was 3 years old, you know, like in the moment.
Yeah. But I love also that this 3-year-old is just like, this is how I feel, and I'm not going to let go of this feeling until I'm 18, and then I'm going to leave. Like, I've made my decision. Fuck y'all. I should have been the only kid. Bounce.
I mean, look, I'm the second of 5, so there was no point where I was the only child, but honestly, some of the later editions, I was like, guys, what are you doing? There's so many of us already. We're already sharing rooms. What are you gotta...
Well, I mean, fiscally fiscally but also it's kind of like multiplicity, where like each one that they pop out is an inferior model.
I mean, they peaked with 2, right? You do the one practice, you get a one practice one, and then you get me.
Are we ready for that hot theme?
Oh, yeah. This might be the latest we've ever gone.
I know.
I forgot that was a bit that we did.
24 minutes in, and people are clamoring.
Oh, boy. It's time to start the show.
Our country will be woke no longer. Our country will be woke no longer. When we stop being sensitive to others, we will all be that much stronger.
I hate this.
Our country will be woke no longer. Legalize comedy.
Oh, God.
And then the
4
tragedy.
minutes long.
Let's make fun of disabilities and all minorities once we are set free from the
not gonna
oppression
last 4
of
minutes on this,
illegal
but-
comedy. Our country will be woke no longer. Our country will be woke no longer. When we stop being sensitive to others, we will all be that much stronger. Our country will be woke no longer. I got a couple daddy-os that you may know. They will be doing shows and pushing boundary-os. Daddy-o, 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 daddy-o.
Now you can fade it out. That's it. Yeah.
Oh, so it's not really 4 minutes long.
No. No, I just did not want to edit it. It goes on instrumental for a pretty long time. Look, I am just so happy that we are no longer going to be woke, that we, Glenn and Ricky, the bad boy daddy-os
We've
of
already
comedy.
been given permission to use slurs by another white kid in Florida. So what? There's nothing holding us back, you know?
Well, it was wild because the white kid in Florida was talking about how, like, if you want to, and it wasn't just like, it was pretty specific slurs. It was just like, you can rip on Jewish people because I'm Jewish, and you can say the N-word. I'm not black, but I'm giving you, and he said it once at the beginning, and then it was like, ha, 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 ha. And then that's how he brought me up, was just
Yeah.
like, I told this next comedian he can say the N-word, and I was just like, what about how I look? I was
Well-
wearing a monkey sparkly sweatshirt.
Other than the sweatshirt, granted,
I look like this.
You and I look like people who would probably love throwing a slur around. You know, we're middle-aged white dudes. I understand the assumption, but no, thank you is the point.
No.
I hated
Thank
that
you.
song.
Purposely.
I know.
I did something.
I understand.
Okay. Okay. I just want to
understand
make sure
satire.
neither
I don't
you or I.
Yeah. I don't think I don't think you're doing a heel turn.
Oh.
Oh yeah,
Ooh, brother.
I'm being racist now.
What if I did? What would I have
it
to
would,
say or do right now
honestly,
for
show
you to
them.
turn off the show? Like,
Uh,
just shutting it down.
pretty much any slur. Any whiff of that song not being ironic. Yeah.
What I hate about that song, besides the content and how it was inspired,
the sound
is
of
that
it,
it's
also
it's
I
a
didn't enjoy it.
oh, I thought it was a pretty hot jam. Like, I kind of want to sample that do 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 do.
It's all poo poo.
But the content, hot garbage. Man, the U.S. will be woke no longer. No longer are we under the oppression of not being able to offend or say or do whatever we want. And people cheered. People were so excited.
Oh, I didn't
and
watch
happy.
it. I was watching Daredevil, and
Oh, you think I watched it?
yeah, with rapt attention.
No.
I was watching Daredevil
You know what I did?
on purpose.
I popped it up and I was like, hey, Allie, to my wife. I was like, you want to watch this? She was just like, you're kidding, right? I was like, 100%. Cobra Kai.
But one of the things that I truly like, besides the fact that Daredevil looks like it was made on a student film budget on an iPhone, Kingpin is just Trump now. Like,
Oh.
it's
Yeah.
it's
Huh.
the standard comic book villain of like, oh, he's gonna be the mayor now. And it's like, God, Disney. It's like the most 7th grade fucking
Low
trying to
hanging
make
fruit.
a political point, but you're Disney, so like you're not really gonna make the point because you're Disney. You're gonna be like, well, we don't want to upset. It's like the most, it's like you're drawing the plot with those little fat crayons you give toddlers, where it's like, oh, you get it? Did you see what we're doing? And it's like, yeah, there's.
What do we do? But what are we doing?
There's
Like,
no subtlety to it.
But what are we doing, like, say, and I know I've aged out of it, but I have gotten annoyed by so much comedy as of recent. And I know anybody that comes to my shows
Mine, you
say
mean?
that as well. Yeah. But I have like
Because I keep talking about Mr. T.
I just don't want to like SNL clips that pop up. Anytime it's like Mike Myers appearing on the cold open of the Shane Gillis episode, I watched that
Yeah.
clip where they're making fun of Zelensky and all that. I was like, yeah, Mike Myers, that's a good pull for it. And he's basically kind of doing his Simon character as Elon Musk. And I'm just like, yeah, okay.
I saw
just-
the stills. I didn't watch it. I'm not interested. I hate stunt casting on SNL. You know, there's no point in bringing Mike Myers back to do it. You got to cast. Use the cast that you have. Also, there's the picture from the Good Nights where he's wearing the Canada's Not for Sale shirt. And everyone's like, yeah, I mean, great statement, Mike Myers. It is weird that you're standing next to Shane Gillis while you are making it, you know? Maybe dilutes the message a little bit if that's who the whole episode is platforming. This one guy who would be happy with that, I'm sure. I don't know. I don't want to talk about this anymore.
I know we won't. We will move on to comedy. I
want to move on to cream soda.
Okay, yeah. Cream soda. Cream Eugene sodas.
So local soda brand, A Treat, just released Larry Holmes cream soda. Local celebrity and boxing legend Larry Holmes from Easton, Pennsylvania, famously beat Muhammad Ali, I think. Not really a boxing guy, but I think that's why.
Famously did something I'm not sure of, but again, I'll say with confidence as a middle-aged white
I
man.
think that's everyone's like, oh, you know, Larry Holmes beat Muhammad Ali, right?
Yeah, but not like in the ring, like at a game of Monopoly. Like it was
Beat him in
riveting.
chess, weirdly. No, Larry Holmes is great. He's a guy you will see around Easton sometimes if you spend any amount of time there. They put up a statue to him a couple of years ago, and I was walking around town, potentially playing Pokemon Go. It might have been Pokemon Go era, and I got to see Larry Holmes checking out
Also
a
playing-
statue of himself.
Oh, that's cool.
Because he had like I don't know if it's still there. He had like a steakhouse, so it was like near where that was.
Of course he did. Of
I think he
course
still
he's a
owns the
celebrity
building.
with
Yeah,
a
yeah, yeah.
steakhouse that has been out of bit. Yeah, I
I don't know if
love
the
when celebrities
steakhouse is
do
still
that.
extant, but the building is. So I was just like walking around. You walk, on the eastern side of the Delaware River, and I was like, oh, they're putting up a Larry Holmes statue. Neat. And then I'm like, oh, that's Larry Holmes is checking out the Larry Holmes statue. I was like, I'm not gonna act like if my town put up a Glenn Tickle statue, I'm there every day, you know.
Oh, but I'm doing it like like I'm walking by and
Oh,
by and
trench
being
coat,
like,
spy
huh.
versus spy hat.
Huh.
Oh, that guy! What a
Huh.
handsome statue! That statue.
that gentleman
can get
is
it.
striking.
I mean,
You would
they
smooch
needed-
it. You would
I
smooch it so hard.
No question, no question. I would do it, and I would feel so yucky because it's like it's probably covered in germs.
Covered in bird shit.
Yeah, I mean, I would still do it probably. But it's so A Treat released this. There is not a soda brand based in my town, but Easton, Pennsylvania is pretty close, so I feel like I would still count as a local celebrity. What I'm saying is A Treat, what other flavors do you need to put a guy on? So this is Larry Holmes cream soda. It's just their cream soda, a thing that I've had many times before, but
Should we campaign to try to get you on a soda? Like, what would your flavor of soda?
Yes, that's
you,
what I'm subtly hinting at.
You love gross flavored drinks.
Well, I don't know if that's how I would phrase it. I will try any weird soda I come across.
What
I
is the
don't
weirdest?
Like, the Beetlejuice one that I'm the only person who likes.
Disgusting.
It's delicious.
How do you have any teeth in your mouth?
A thing I do not like is ones that are weird on purpose, like the ranch
Like the
dressing-
Beetlejuice one?
the
Oh,
ranch
okay.
dressing. So it's like you just
Yeah.
get wrecked, like don't make something disgusting on purpose. It's a waste of resources.
So, like, you don't like any pickled flavored things?
If I liked pickles, I think I would be less, but like
Because it's vinegar. It's like
even if you
kombucha.
like ranch dressing flavored soda is not going to taste good. You know, you're being stupid.
No.
But what I like is like unusual flavors. So A-Treat has sarsaparilla still.
Okay.
That's how old timey
Yeah.
this soda company is. It went out of business years ago, and then it got.
But no one told them, and they just kept on.
Got bought up, and they came back. So now, but they will you can get some of the flavors in glass bottles.
Oh yeah.
Which I love. Love a glass bottle.
Yep.
So what I'm saying is, A-Treat, we got to do Glen Tickle sarsaparilla glass bottle release.
Sarsaparilla? That's the flavor you would go for Glen Tickle?
Yes. Do I think it is? I think it's of their flavors that they offer. It is the one is probably the least popular. It is the most unusual because it's just a thing that people don't really drink anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Also, it's good, and it's a thing that people drink in cartoons, which I think is my whole vibe.
I remember watching old-timey movies like film noirs, and whenever they'd sit in the study or whatever, or in the office, and they'd pour a nice glass of bourbon or whiskey or scotch. Scotch is a big one. And I was like, oh, man, I can't wait until I can sip on some good scotch. And then I poured it, and I was like, this is garbage. Give me Mountain Dew.
Scotch tastes like dirt. As I look, I don't drink anymore, famously, but when I did, bourbon whiskey is delicious. But it makes my face hurt, so I can't do it no more.
Oh, no. It made
Scotch,
you break out in handcuffs?
Scotch was always yucky. No, it's just so. I
There's a
describe it
joke.
as being
There's a joke nobody ever has to do again.
Yeah, it's not a good one.
I don't drink anymore because I used to break out in handcuffs.
I say that I am allergic to alcohol. I don't think that is strictly true, but alcohol can so your body stores histamines, and alcohol can like get your body to release them all at once.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm allergic to a lot of stuff. So what happens was I would drink alcohol, and it makes my allergies so much worse so quickly.
Mm-hmm.
That it's just not worth it. You know,
It-
like I
it
like
makes-
the feeling of being a drink and a half in at a party or whatever,
Yeah.
but I hate the feeling of like, well, now I can't breathe out of my nose. I have a migraine. My face is bright red. It's like, it's just not.
Your body's actually, I mean, because you are such a delicate flower, you are Mr. Glass. It's a good thing that it does that to you because alcohol is poison.
Yeah, it's not good. And I was having the thought this morning that like, I forget what I was watching. Like somebody regretted like not partying more when they were younger. And I was like, I never really partied, but I was never like, even when I drank, it wasn't like heavily or a lot. I don't smoke. And it's like, I wish I did more of that stuff when I was younger.
No edibles.
Just because it would explain more of what's wrong with me. You know?
Oh, that you would have like a reason, like an origin story for being a broken boy.
Yeah. Be like, oh yeah, well I drank 3 bottles of Jack Daniels every day, so that's why I'm like this.
Oh, I didn't know. Are you Slash? Were you in Guns N' Roses?
Yeah, did I not mention my time in GNR?
Talking
I
about
was
big
their
hats,
kazoo player.
like Danny DeVito.
Yeah, Slash loves a big hat. And then they had that Bucket Man.
Oh, I don't know about no Bucket Man. I only know
Buckethead?
Slash.
There's a guy who put a KFC bucket on his head. I believe he was in Guns N' Roses for a while.
Okay, sure. I mean, that
There's a
also just
guy-
might have been the lead singer of Guns N' Roses,
A guy
Axl Rose.
who lived down the hall from me, in my brief time at Seton Hall, was obsessed with Buckethead, I think was his name. Probably not birth name.
Sounds like a David Lynch movie.
He put a KFC bucket on his head, and he's like, he's the greatest guitar player of all time. And I said, if that's true, he probably wouldn't need the bucket on his head.
Wait, chicken and the egg. Are you saying he was the greatest guitar player of all time because he had the bucket on his head? Or he was showing how good he was, like, I can even wear a chicken bucket on my head and be awesome at guitar?
No, it had like eye holes, I think, like
like a mask.
kind
Like
of
the
like
Fat
a
Albert.
mask. Like that's
Like-
what I'm trying to
yeah.
remember which Fat Albert character had like a hat. Chris, I think this young man's name was obsessed with Buckethead. He's like, he's great because he can make the guitar talk, and I was like, no, he can't. He's like, no, it sounds like a person talking. I was like, I guarantee you it doesn't. And then
Oh,
he
like
played me.
Bon Jovi from your home state, the Richie Sambora, I think is guitarist, who had that like wow wow wow, like the tube that went to the guitar,
The
and they're just like,
vocoder.
isn't that awesome? He can make it the guitar talk. I was like, no,
Talking into a tube, man.
yeah, like okay, bring
You
out
can
a
make
kazoo.
a piano talk. Did you know that?
Sure,
Piano,
that makes sense.
Piano has enough keys. That
yeah,
if you,
enough
if
keys and
you-
tones.
If you put a robot, if you attach a robot to a piano, it can talk. End of Mr. Blue Sky style.
Yes,
But a
Mr.
guitar
Sky,
can't do that,
tell you why.
right? Like, so he played a clip. He's like, "Look, it sounds like it's talking." I was like, "It doesn't. It sounds like a guy playing the guitar weird, is what it sounds like." He's like, "No, it's saying this," and it was that thing of like when ghost hunters play you back like static, and they're like, "Oh, it's saying like get out of my house." It isn't, man.
No, it's just me being like, get out of my house.
I want you out of my house because ghosts are real and
Vagrancy.
you're boring. Stop coming over and playing me your weird little clips.
Every time I hear Mr. Blue Sky, I'm not sure of this 100%. I like the song. It is
It rocks.
overdone. But every time I hear it, I'm like, this sounds like I'm getting ready to watch, or I'm watching the opening of every Judd Apatow movie.
And Guardians
And
of the
I-
Galaxy 2.
Oh, is it? Oh, man, not a good movie. Great cast, not a good movie. Wasted.
They all kind of run together. I know I hate the third one.
I didn't see the third one because 2,
It made me
Upset
too
me.
sad. And like
Yeah. Rocket.
when I got out of when I was posting about it, I was like, I hated this movie more than I think I've hated a movie in a long time.
wow.
I really like James Gunn.
Yeah.
I think he's good. I think
People
And
are
he
talking
did-
great about Creature Commandos.
I watched all of Creature Commandos except for there was one episode where it's like, God, you're doing the thing again, man. And so there's like the Weasel, I think is his
Yeah,
name.
yeah,
He is
from
like a
Suicide
big
Squad.
weasel.
Yeah.
So basically there's like a season-long story for Creature Commandos, but also like most of the episodes were like, this is this character's backstory, but all the backstories are tragic because
Yep.
that's apparently what
orange-
James Gunn is into lately.
They Orange is the new Blackett,
Yeah.
where they like, and here's how they all came to be.
I stopped. So the Weasel one, I stopped pretty quickly. I was like, no, not. And it's like, and if you keep doing flashbacks to this, I will not be watching the rest of Creature Commandos.
Did you
I
tweet?
hated-
Did you tweet James Gunn that? Did you let him know and then he blocked you?
No, he replied to something. When I was in Hungary, there was a magazine with him on the cover, and I bought it just to have something to like try practicing reading in Hungarian. And I shared the picture of him on the cover of a Hungarian magazine, and he replied. I forget what he said.
I always forget that I'm weirdly connected to James Gunn now because I am in the Tromaverse,
Like ET
and
style.
that is and that's
When he gets
because,
drunk, you get drunk.
yeah, Koriskin Brothers style to reference a lesser known Cheech and Chong film. But he got his start with Troma and Lloyd Kaufman, the president of Troma, who Lloyd knows how phones work,
Sure.
but every conversation with Lloyd Kaufman is the exact same. So it's wild to have him stored in my phone and get calls from him. But what's even funnier is this is how he does every phone call. He will call you. You see on your phone caller ID, and it says Lloyd Kaufman, and I got a picture of him. And I'll answer it. I'll be like, "Hey, Lloyd," or I'll be like, "Hey," and he'll go, "Lloyd Kaufman here, calling from Tromaville, the president and creator of Toxic Avenger." And I'm like, "Yeah, I know."
Oh, man.
Yeah, every time. But his favorite thing to do is
Hey,
anytime
Glenn,
he
it's
releases.
Mom. Yeah, I know. Mom, I know. I know.
Is he is always looking for, or he's always touting the next film or filmmaker that of things that he's putting out because he's Troma produced, co-produced, executive produced Sweetmeats and is putting it out, and we have our premiere on March 22nd. If you're anywhere near
Oh,
the Cincinnati, Ohio area,
I'm
Lloyd
not.
Kaufman will be
Quite
there.
far from there, actually.
I hope it's a ruckus event and packed, but he always is looking for. He'll be like, Ricky Glore could be the next James Gunn, or the Matt and Trey, or the Eli Roth, or the like whoever he has done like had business with in the past. He's always looking for the next one. I think James Gunn though. So wait, sorry, you're in Hungary, and did he retweet? You took like a picture of it.
He
and
replied. I put it up on Threads or whatever, and he replied, but I don't remember. It just said like neat or something. It wasn't like we didn't have an in-depth conversation. It was like, oh, like
You didn't start
James,
smooching.
He does seem to be a guy who searches his own name, because I don't think I tagged him. You know,
No.
he interacts a lot with people. Like,
Okay.
I follow him on Threads, and he is like constantly replying and talking to people. People ask like a Superman question, and he's like,
All right.
he will take time to answer. Love it. I do think he's great. I want to be clear. I hated Guardians of the Galaxy 3, and people were like, oh, I loved it. It was like, no. It's just there's so much in it that upsets me specifically. Like where it's not, I'm not saying it's a bad movie. I don't think he did a bad job. There's a lot of like weird animal torture stuff where I was like, nah, dog, I don't want to watch this. If I was not watching this movie right now, specifically to kill some time before the show I was doing that night, I probably would have just walked out. I was like, I do not like it. And it's like, oh, how dare. No, they're CGI animals. I understand. He's not real, but I don't want to watch it either, you know? You see like it's Rocket Raccoon's tragic backstory. And I was like, I don't know. He's friends with a little white rabbit who kind of looks like my little white rabbit, and I don't like this.
So, and that kind of connects to what you said about anytime child abuse or talking about the Amber Alert joke that doesn't work for you. When we went to, this will also close another tab from earlier. I'm on top of it today. We went to, it's called Nova Adventure Park. It's like a trampoline play thing, indoor play thing for kids. It's, I think, the best one that we've gone to. There's a lot of stuff for it. My friend Danny, childhood friend Danny, is in town from Hawaii. He's in the Navy. I only see him like once a year sometimes. Sometimes it goes a couple years. He has 2 young kids. Other friend Eric Hunter, we're all friends, brought his 2 kids. They were playing Cool Rider from Grease 2. And so like I hoofed it across the park to find them, and I was just like, do you hear this? And they're like, what? I was like, never in the wild do you ever hear a song from Grease 2.
Yeah.
I was like, this is a momentous occasion. We have Mike Flincham in the chat saying
I
Danby
didn't know
for
that was a
millennials.
feature that could happen, so I can bring him up. I can post them.
Oh,
But yeah,
can
I just
you?
thought- yeah, I just brought
Oh.
it up on screen.
Oh, great. Cool.
Where
Yeah, I
where
just
he-
did it.
Where he says Bambi for millennials. Yeah, like it's that stuff is so upsetting. Where it's like my react where it's like, yeah, at that point I'm not thinking about whether the movie is good or not. I'm just like, I'm not having a good time. I'm
Yeah,
not
it's
enjoying
making
this
you-
experience.
So like it's doing what its purpose is to make you emotionally connect to
Yeah.
it. But little do they know that is one of your things. That you're just like, all right, I'm out.
Yeah, I'm not an idiot. I understand that it is in there to
Glenn
be
Tickle
upsetting.
says, not an idiot.
Yeah, put it on my tombstone. Not
I have
an idiot.
So I came up with the thought process of, and I know you're not going to like this joke for the reasons that we've mentioned, is it made me realize that why the buddy system exists is it's not for if someone tries to steal your kid that there's another kid there, or like to go off with a stranger and the other kid's like, hey, no, I don't think you should go off with a stranger. It's because it's literally harder to steal 2 kids rather than just 1 kid. And I did not think of that until having kids, that is what the buddy system is for.
That's true. I mean, you got twins, so that's baked in. You know,
It's great. Yeah. I mean, it's perfect.
I think I've
that
heard
reason.
someone
Mention
do a
that?
joke about this because they were like, I kind of vaguely remember. Man, it might have been me. I don't. It's just,
I
It
remember a
would've been-
really good comedian doing this
No.
joke that was super
Yeah,
funny.
and God, it was so
he was
funny
not
and
an
cool.
idiot. He was not
he
an
was
idiot.
so
Very
smart, and it looked like he had a big hog. No, somebody was talking about how now that they had more than 1 kid, that they kind of came to that realization. Like, it is harder to raise 2 kids that you love. let alone just grab a couple off the street. And I was like, it's dark
Yeah.
but funny.
Why would you steal 2 kids? It's hard for one. So you are self-proclaimed not an idiot.
Yeah.
I am happy to discuss this. I don't know if I've ever brought this up to you. So like you
That
brought
you
the
are an
piano,
idiot?
that I am a massive dum-dum. 2 things that I understand how they work, and if you explain them to me, but I do not understand how they work. Record players,
Okay.
I get it. It's grooves, it's reverberation, and blah, blah.
Yeah.
I don't understand, and I can't comprehend how you can take what we perceive that we're hearing and put it on vinyl. By groove. Like, I
Okay.
don't get it.
I
It's
mean,
magic. It's witchcraft.
Are you
to me.
asking me to explain it to you?
No, because I will be like, yes, that makes sense, but it doesn't make sense.
I don't want to do the thing where I'm like talking down to you.
Condescending? No, do it. I'm an idiot.
But I understand how record players work. But I
Right.
have this with sewing machines.
Okay.
It's a thing where like I will look it up and for about 5 minutes I will understand how a sewing machine can be a needle on one side of cloth that goes through and then back up, but
Yes.
and it's like but right now could not tell you for $1,000 cash money. But then I'd be like, oh, like somebody will explain it. Be like, well, dummy, there's another thing. It's like, right, but how does the thing? I don't know. But if I watch a GIF of it, I understand for about 5 minutes.
Same, another product. I mean, just this in general, phones, but more
Man,
simpler.
I brought it up before.
Yeah.
That's why I love the show Dr. Stone. It's the anime that I really liked that I was telling you about.
Yeah.
Because so everybody gets turned to stone. A couple people wake up 3,000 years in the future. One dude is a scientist, so he has to use science to like rebuild society. And a friend of mine in college would bring up a lot. It was I don't know if you remember my friend Kev who was on the chat a couple episodes ago.
Yeah.
He would be like, if like there's an apocalypse, I could never build a car. I don't know how that works. But like the thing I like about Dr. Stone is like they build a record player, and then while they do it, they explain like, here's the science. It's great because they also teach children how to make gunpowder, which is very funny to me, but it is also famously like you got to get that ratio exactly right or it doesn't work. So
Speaking about gunpowder, I was getting ready to say the Anarchist Cookbook? What is that called?
the Anarchist Cookbook.
Mike Flincham, who's in the chat, there were 2 people in middle school that I think he, and correct me if I'm wrong, Mike, if you're still here, if you have not bounced, a childhood friend of mine, producer on Sweetmates. He and, gosh, I can't think of the other kid's name. They found the Anarchist Cookbook, like printed offline, in his locker, and he got suspended. Like it was the hot thing in like 7th grade. So what?
Yeah.
Probably about like 2000, like 1999, 1998, right around Columbine time. Kids were like hardcore into being like, oh yeah, and this is like how you build weapons and explosives and blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
And those kids were really microscoped real quick to just be like, we're going to make sure that you are not wanting to, that this isn't just literature. We're just not like, you don't have Catcher in the Rye in your locker room. Like in your locker, you have a manifesto and a manual to do some maybe not cool shit.
I know I had, I don't know if I ever had a copy. I've seen it. I know I had friends who did. We would like look stuff up.
It had the symbol on the front. I remember
But
that.
it was the stuff I was looking for was all like the weird computer stuff, not any of the like here's how you do explosives.
Ooh, like what's the weird computer stuff? Like hacking,
Oh,
like how you tear
yeah,
down,
the
like
thing- so there's
millennial
the thing-
year 2000.
Did you watch in the classic film Hackers? That's very good, and everyone agrees is an accurate representation of how computers work.
Yeah. I'm in.
Yeah, there's stuff like that where they like you play the tape of the sound of coins going in the payphone, and then you play that in the microphone, and the payphone thinks you put quarters in or whatever.
Yes.
Stuff like that. Where as like a 12-year-old, you're like, oh, I can beat the system. It was like super interesting. To
I
me.
could topple humanity and the government.
Yeah, but then it was also all the stuff where it's like, oh, here's how you make napalm. I don't want to make napalm.
No.
I just
so-
want to call my mom to let her know she can come pick me up.
Phonograph and photographs, like cameras. I also, same way of record players.
Yeah, man, you got to get those silver nitrate crystals, Daddy-O. That's
I don't understand
yeah.
how, and that it's been around for so long. Like, right? Like record players and cameras. I mean, I would guess record players have been around
Correct.
longer than cameras. I couldn't give you like how many years or decades that one has existed before the other one, but like it's witchcraft. Like I am a person back in the day who was first seeing it and they're being like, you know how that works? I'm like, yeah, witchcraft, voodoo, like this
magic.
capturing
Nah,
my
dog.
image and my soul.
I mean, photography is a lot harder because it is like it works at like a chemical level. So just like phonographs, I understand because it's literally like it's straight up mechanical, right? You make a sound into a big old timey Victrola horn with a little needle on it while the thing is moving. The needle wiggles because you're the sounds, and then that pattern when the
How
needle
does
goes
that
back
not just
over
make
it-
a new sound with the same
'Cause
rhythm
it's
or
the
pace? Right, but how does it capture the thing that we all hear?
because sound is vibration?
Sure, but the vibration wouldn't always be the same
We're
sound.
coming up on condescending territory.
I am. Look, if this show does anything,
Look,
and if
there's
this
stuff
tour
I don't
does
know
anything,
how it works. It's just when people talk
Yeah.
about stuff that I do know, I get so excited to talk about it. But I think it's the thing how like we both sound sarcastic all the time. I think I always I think it's just baked in that I always a little bit sound like I'm talking down to people. Which granted, a lot of the times I am. But I don't I'm trying so hard to not do that because you're my friend and I don't think not knowing how a record player works means you're stupid. I do think if you think it's magic, that means you're stupid.
Oh, I don't think it's magic. Yeah.
But
So the condescension thing, we can pivot because you don't really need to explain it to me. As I said, it's the sewing machine thing for you. I get it when I'm hearing it, and then it's just like, oh, okay. Condescension. I just brought this up to a friend of mine. That is, if I have one thing that I do care about what people think about me is if the first time you meet me or the first interaction, or if you see me on something, and if your thought is, ew, he thinks he's better than me. One, I probably am. Two,
I don't want people to think this thing that is absolutely true about me.
yes, I don't want that to be the thing that I carry with me as being like, well, Ricky's number one trait is that he's superior and he always talks condescendingly. That is, if anybody has that about me, it's the one thing, a perception that people could have of me that I would want to correct and just be not correct because that sounds condescending.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, I've never thought that about you, but it's because I think
Okay.
I'm better than you.
Well, and as I mentioned, you are like comedy, hog size, understanding
for
how
sure.
things work,
yeah.
love making.
Oh, who knows?
The thing
Let's
that
find
you're
out
not
together on tour.
is soda drinking.
Why?
That is because you
Oh, because I like sodas. I thought you meant like how I drink it.
the way you drink soda, and this is going to sound condescending, is I think if I was making a list of things that make you from New Jersey, that would be at the top. Is the garbage kind of things you put in your mouth that are liquid. I'm like, yeah, what a New Jerseyan trait.
There is. Oh, I just found out. So in I want to say Burlington County, New Jersey,
Coat Factory? Oh.
there is a soda company that like just distributes locally. There's like 4 places that carry it, and it is apparently not very good. And I cannot wait.
Of course.
Cannot wait to go about an hour south to track some of this down.
You are a trash panda.
It's part of it. Honestly, it's
You're
I've
wearing
always-
that fucking sweater again.
Yeah, I know. I love
you
it.
are a trash panda.
I love.
Have you washed it?
Yeah.
Okay. Have you really?
Yeah.
All right.
I will wear it like I have a t-shirt. I have my Harry Nilsson shirt on underneath. But I will wear this over a t-shirt probably like a week, maybe not every day, but like that's about when it goes in the wash.
You know what's funny is I just berated you for that. I
Yeah.
have worn
Put
this
your dumb monkey
sweatshirt.
sweatshirt on again, idiot.
I've worn this for like the last 4 days.
Yeah.
Because it feels nice.
And a lot of times on the show.
Yeah.
It's comfy and it's cold in my house, so it keeps me warm.
That's yes.
Yeah, I have this and one other one other sweater that I like wearing all the time. They're cozy and I like them.
Oh, I think we would probably both agree, if I had to guess something that you would share an opinion on with me, is if we could dress like cartoon characters, we would.
Yeah, I mentioned on the show before I used to, and it was great.
Oh yeah, okay.
I would go back to it if I found it has to be comfortable is the thing.
Yes.
So I bought a couple of the same suit and I just wore the same thing every day. But the thinking behind it being a suit is like, well, I was substitute teaching at the time. I liked that I didn't have to go to my waiter job anymore, so I could dress quote unquote like an adult. So it's just like suit every day. But then also, you know, if it's hot, take the jacket off. If it's, you know, a casual event, you know, untuck the shirt, you roll the sleeve. Like you have options. If you get somewhere and you're like just got a button down and you're like, oh, it's actually a little dressier than I thought. You've already got the jacket. You throw that on, you look great. Like dudes, you will fit in a version of a suit just about anywhere, you know?
I like being situationally comfortable. So the older that I've gotten, again, perception of like how I look or something, depending on where I'm at, I care less and less or more and more. So like if I'm going to be on a plane, I'm going to wear whatever I can wear that I feel comfortable in all the different temperatures of the airport, on the plane, getting off the plane, wherever I'm arriving, if I'm going from a cold weather to a hot weather. So I have an outfit that is probably pretty similar to what I'm wearing right now. Yeah. But it also matters too, because I fucking hate how different every airport is of when you're going through security. Some places like take off your shoes. Some places like take off all your how is it not the same?
Baby?
I know.
It is. That was the most worth it thing I've done. Like, I know I talked about the time I got the airport lounge pass.
Yes.
As like, it really made me hate the whole experience a lot less. It really took the stress out. Also, I did the math on it. I think, I don't remember if I talked about it on the episode. Like,
oh yeah, you said it was worth it. Yeah.
$40 each way, right?
Yeah.
So I paid $80, but I could go to the lounge twice, like pre-flight and then when I land, and then for both times.
And if you drink like me, like getting a couple
that's
drinks,
basically a cocktail.
Yeah.
At an airport. I don't, but like there's food. The Newark one had like a full buffet. So the one in Minneapolis or wherever I flew into had snacks and stuff, but not like a full buffet. But enough that it's like, well, yeah, you know, there was like a disappointing veggie wrap in a cooler that had been there for 6 hours.
And it's weird because that's how it was labeled. A disappointing veggie
They might
wrap.
as well. Oh boy, look, as a longtime vegetarian, if you're just wrapping up wet zucchini in a tortilla, just
they spray it
let
first,
me save you the
and then they
trouble.
slide the wet zucchini and wet lettuce.
Dunk
They
it.
squeeze the lettuce to like get out all of them. My daughter Anna got into this. She has a pretty good palate and will eat a pretty good amount of different things. She's started eating shrimp. She's already eaten salmon. She likes actually eating salad. So she got on a kick where the way she likes her salad now is not crunchy. So the way she likes it, I literally squeeze the pieces of lettuce to make it mushy. And she's like, yup, this is how I like it. With Caesar dressing and Parmesan.
Old lettuce, Daddy.
You know, like those vending machines that have those sandwiches.
Yeah.
And that had lettuce on them
from
and
the
mayonnaise.
back of the drawer that you forgot about from last
Yeah.
week. Can
I
have
need the
that
stuff
one?
that you purposely not buy because it's not fresh. I need the fresh stuff you buy
that's
and
that
you
good
spend more
stuff.
money. Yeah, and then make it gross. I wish
wild.
airports, so I don't like that airports are different with their security check-ins, and you're right that a little bit is my fault for the amount of times that I've bitched and complained about it. But I do wish if I did the lounge thing you're talking about, that each airport was like, what is that in Disney where it's like eating around the world or drinking around the world? I wish
Yeah.
each airport, their lounge had regional things that they were known for, and
That
that
would
was
be
it.
neat, and I'm
That'd
sure
be
some
cool.
of them do.
Because I'm pretty sure disappointing veggie wrap is not a staple
No,
of
that's
Minnesota.
universal in my experience. But yeah, it was. I would do it like I know there's credit cards that you can get that, but they're like airline specific, and I don't like flying, so I don't like fly enough that I can justify because they all have like annual fees. But it's like, all right, well, if I'm paying $100 or whatever a year, but this card will get me into airline lounges when I do have to fly. If I fly a couple times a year, I guess it would be worth it, but I don't know. I want to avoid flying
As much
as
as
much as
possible.
possible, especially now.
Yeah. Well, now that no longer is the U.S. woke and we're firing very essential employees.
I was doing a joke for a while because we had an earthquake in Jersey last year, and not like a big one, but I missed it because I was driving, and then that is an excuse to talk about how I don't like to fly. I prefer driving everywhere. And when I talk about not liking to fly, it's like I'm not afraid to fly. Although honestly,
Now you are.
due to some recent headlines, I might be now. It's been a while, who knows? But that was when that was pre crashes. That was just like United stuff would break, but the plane would still work. And it's like, oh yeah, I don't know, maybe I don't want to. And that was a year ago. So like I'd flown I think twice since then. Where it's like, yeah, I'll do it. Now, genuinely, I think I might be afraid to fly. Honestly.
I used to have a joke. This is back in the day when I was starting off where I didn't talk about anything personal, like back in the 2005s to like 2009, where people who are constantly looking to save money on cheap flights,
Yeah.
can you be that kind of frugal person and also be scared of flying? Because I don't think you can be. I don't think you can be like, ooh, I want the cheapest kind of flight on the most no-name, not
Yeah.
established airline, but then also be like, but I'm scared of flying. It's like, well, then spend more money. Like you should
Yeah.
also be more worried about planes that like are cheap.
Well, that's I genuine. Well, I used to say like, oh, I'm not afraid to fly. I just don't like it. And truly until I don't know, arbitrarily say January of this year.
January
I-
6th, just right around then.
Around then, for no particular reason, it was true. It's like I just didn't like the experience of having to line up to go through security, having to be at the airport, and then you just get there and you just got to sit around for an hour and a half before you can get on the plane, and then you get
With
on
the worst.
plane.
And this is what makes me sound condescending and superior. With the worst people.
Yeah, I mean, I don't love being around others in general.
general.
So, let alone in a tiny. I mean, the line in the joke is like, "I'm not afraid to fly. I don't like that I have to get to the airport so early, stand in a bunch of lines, and then sit in a tube 100 people are going to be farting in for hours."
Circulated,
Yeah. Like,
reprocessed parts.
so I do genuinely think I'm afraid to fly now, but
Yes.
that's pretty recent. Before that, it was literally just like I just don't like.
Don't
it.
like it.
So anything I can do to like make it a little better and less horrible is, I think, worth it. And I love a train. You know, it would be.
I get
great if they
motion
went-
sick. I get motion sickness. Sometimes the unbalance, like the rockiness of a train, depending on how big it is. I'm the same way with boats. I just have real bad motion sickness, and even if I take like a non-drowsy, I
Do you
accidentally.
get motion sickness when you bounce on it crazy style? Do you think
knew,
with that?
I knew that's what you were. You were doing. You know, I think not secretly and secretly. You want to have sexy times with me. Like that's the only concern is that I'm going to have to reject you on
have to
this
shoot me
tour
down?
at
Yeah.
some point. And like, and I'll be nice about it, but then if you get like aggressive, then it's going to be weird.
Oh, I mean, I don't have an aggressive bone in my body, but
Not yet, baby. You
if
know what
you
I'm
like
saying?
one.
Know what I'm saying? Oh, we've done it again. Comes with the World Series. Comes with the World Series. Clip it. We will only clip clips where I just like
Where you're so proud of yourself.
slapping it.
Yeah, but so the stuff like the airport lounge, stuff like, yeah, I don't know. I don't care. I will dress like a child at a sleepover if it gets me through that
A
plane ride.
onesie. Yeah.
I got so
Nothing is grosser than going to the bathroom at an airport and letting your pants or underwear hit
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
floor in an airport bathroom while you're hearing someone squirt their guts out next to you.
I don't think I've gone full like pajama pants on a plane in a while, but I do have a couple pairs of pants that are like actual pants but have a drawstring so you don't have to mess with the belt.
Yeah.
You know, but are soft and like comfortable but look like you've dressed like a grown up. And yeah, I'll just have like a long hoodie so I can put the one thing I do like to do on a plane is I pull the hood halfway down over my face like my hero Daredevil, so that I don't have so it like covers the light. I got big ass noise canceling headphones that I bought a couple years ago, that are great at an airport or when my children have friends over, and yeah, I'm trying like. Yeah, I hate it. I hate going to the airport. I hate being on the
Airports-
airplane.
And airplanes, I feel like are stunt casted with the worst people that like I actually don't think those people are going anywhere. I think it's all an
They're just doing
operation.
it for your
Yeah.
benefit.
Oh yeah,
Did
well
you
yeah.
see a
Truman
real
Show.
pain?
I did not.
So it's really good.
Okay.
I like Jesse Eisenberg a lot. Everyone, I didn't watch Succession. Everyone's like, oh, like Kieran Culkin's just doing the same. I'm like, I don't know who that guy. I mean, I know Fuller from Home Alone. You know, like
Allie,
I'm aware
yeah.
of.
Allie watched of the Culkin dynasty. Yeah.
Yeah. I know who he is. I really like the movie, but it's this is not a spoiler or anything. In the first couple of minutes, they meet at an airport, and Kieran Culkin's character is like, "Oh, I like hanging out here," and it's like, "Ew."
Yeah. Disgusting.
You absolutely is this supposed to make me hate you? You absolute freak. What do you? Oh yeah, I just love going to the. Because there's the thing at the opening of Love Actually where Hugh Grant
what a
is like
garbage fucking movie.
wrong.
Oh.
He's like, oh, I like going to the airport and watching. You're the prime minister, man. Stop hanging out at airports, you creep. Go do a work. But
That movie is so frustrating.
You're wrong. It's great.
The Kieran. There are things in it that I like. I like Hugh Grant. I like actually
Did
Hugh
you
Grant's
know
resurgence.
this is actually a law now that if you don't cry when that little kid runs through airport security, you go to jail forever. Did you know that? It means it means that you're unfit to be a member of society because you don't have any feelings.
Yeah. Okay.
That's
Says
look, it's
says
what the law
you.
is.
Yeah. Says
I'm
you
just
that
letting you
like
know.
hated Guardians of the Galaxy 3 because it made you feel things about animals.
It made me sad. This doesn't make you sad. It makes you feel happy because he's gonna go give that little girl a kiss. It's nice.
No, quit. Yeah. Keira Knightley, that whole fucking storyline with Walking Dead and all of that and the video. That is a fucking serial killer move. Like videotaping and being weird.
Yeah, man.
And
If
like
it was a real thing that someone did, it would probably be pretty messed up. But since
it's
a movie
that
and
part
it's
of the
real-
movie, Love Actually could be easily turned into an A24 movie.
Yeah,
The Laura
1,000
Linney
people
Linney has that is so upsetting. So you don't talk about animals getting hurt, the Alan Rickman stuff, like all of that. I'm just like, Love Actually, most of this is disgusting humans.
It's about vibes, man. Also, the sign thing is real fun because one time I took a picture of the guy holding up the sign. It says, "To me, you are perfect," and I put my face on it, and I changed it to say, "To me, Dan is perfect," and then I sent it to my friend Dan, and it's great. It's a
To
fun
me,
thing
you
to
are
do with
perfect.
your time.
To me, the 18-year-old Keira Knightley is perfect. Oh, hot take that the model, gorgeous British woman
get
is
mad at weird
perfect.
stuff.
Because it's infuriating. I do get mad at weird stuff. I'm sorry.
I mean, you're not alone. I know a lot of people hate Love Actually, but a lot of people like
the movie that I
Guardians of the
hate
Galaxy
more-
3, so I don't know.
The movie that I hate more is The Holiday with Jude Law, Kate
haven't seen
Winslet,
it.
Jack Black, and Cameron Diaz.
People ask me about it sometimes. I guess the big debate is like which couple is the better, but I'm like, I haven't seen it. It looked boring.
Neither. Garbage. Kate Winslet would never be with Jack Black, and then they go to Blockbuster, and he picks up The Graduate, and Jack Black's all like, skiddly-doot, scat, 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 I'm Jack Black, scoot. And then who's in Blockbuster at the same time while he's talking about The
I don't
Graduate?
know. I haven't seen the movie.
Dustin Hoffman.
Yeah. Stuff happens in movies that's not real, right? Like,
Someone wrote it. Someone spent time.
Yeah,
There
that's
was
how
checks
movies
and
work,
balance.
dog.
I know. I've made 2 of them.
somebody was like, oh, you know what would be funny if somebody renting The Graduate ran into Dustin Hoffman at a movie.
No.
Like,
No, thank you.
I
Oh,
mean, Dustin
Chris
Hoffman's apparently kind of a dick. So
Chris
I guess.
Kettler, who is booking a lot of
Best
the
in the
Daddy
biz?
tour, said, "Got a minute for a call today," and he didn't put a question mark, but I'm assuming it's a
He's
question.
letting you know he has 1 minute for podcast.
Got a minute for a call today. Just
Yeah,
saying.
Just real quick,
saying.
Just say some dates and numbers.
Dates and numbers. Dates and numbers. I know he said he's going to give us another hot date for the Daddy tour, and I hope that's true.
We should go on a hot date on the Daddy-O tour.
So if we explode, not like physically, just in celebrity, would we get a tour bus? Would you be down for getting a tour bus?
Yeah.
Oh shit! Chris Kettler is calling right now.
Oh yeah.
Hey, Chris Kettler, Glenn Tickle and I are recording the Daddy-O Show podcast, and I
Why
just
are we
pulled
doing-
you up on
Why are
speakerphone.
we doing this on air?
You're on the cast live right now.
Huh?
Are you on the cast live right now?
We are on the cast right now. You are now part of the episode. I put you on speaker, so don't say anything derogatory, inflammatory, or any Tories.
Yeah, we're fine. We're good. I know how to behave. That's a laugh, isn't it?
Yeah,
Glenn hasn't met me, so he doesn't understand yet.
that's true. Glenn hasn't met you. He only knows
I don't think
what
he
you
can hear me. But
yeah, he can't. You can't hear Glenn because I've got Glenn being piped through my cans.
That's all right.
Can Glenn and I give you a call back after we're done with the podcast?
Yes, sir.
Excellent.
We'll talk a little later. Sorry I'm so late in the week to get out to you guys, though. Have a great podcast. We'll talk a little later.
talk to you
Bye, Chris.
Bye.
That was our first guest.
later. Yeah. I was so excited last week when I was on the trip with Tristan. I was like, oh, you can come to the show. And then it's like, oh, well, we do it so goddamn early. And he's like, oh, then no. And I was like, fair, man. I also don't want to do it.
This is the healthiest that you have come off on the show, I believe. Right
Yeah,
now. You're energetic, you're healthy,
I'm a
you're
little
not dead.
sore from going to the gym yesterday and doing some new stuff, but I'm not coughing and I got a good amount of sleep. It is pretty early, but yeah, otherwise I feel pretty good.
It is pretty early. It is 10:24. How long
Dog.
have you been up today?
It's
Dog.
like 6:15,
Yeah.
but not.
So
I'm not
it's
happy
4
about it.
hours later.
I would go to sleep in a second. Oh, so 2 things I wanted. I already covered cream soda. I had a list of 3 things I wanted to bring up on the show today.
I already covered cream soda too. No,
We
I'm
already, and the other one was yesterday. Your boy made maple syrup. I drilled a hole in a tree in my yard
with your
collected
dick.
all the tree piss, and I boiled it down in an open fire in my yard.
That's awesome.
And now I have maple syrup that I put on waffles this morning. It's a little runny. I think I gotta try heating it up again to get the right consistency. But I'll be goddamned if it didn't taste like maple syrup. I did a good job,
Ooh, sure.
and I
it
don't
is.
think it's poison.
Ooh.
It might be.
Yeah, I think. I mean, gosh, it would be too much for this episode, so I will bank it for the next one. It sounds like with your love of Dr. Stone and now this newfound making your own maple syrup that you are possibly in survivalist mode. You're like, what
Well-
can I do when society crashes?
Maybe that might explain the Dr. Stone. I don't know why I made maple syrup yesterday.
I do.
And I think it started last year. One of my kids said, like, how do they make maple syrup? And I was like, and I think there's a Mr. Rogers episode or something where I saw how I'm like, oh, like you drill a hole in a tree and all this stuff comes out, and you boil it down a lot until like it's.
You're like,
it's
first you have
stretched
to have a
syrup.
massive hog, and you have to get
Yep.
it completely erect, and then you have to just like bang a
That's how you do
tree
it.
out.
It would actually the hole would be too big.
It would be contaminated with your hog juice.
Yeah, but
Glenn Tickles hog juice. That's your soda. Glenn Tickles
please,
hog
a
juice.
treat. Get on this.
A treat. Oh, a treat. It's a treat.
Yeah,
Oh, I'm an idiot.
it's great. It's a classic.
Yeah.
I wish their Diet Cola was a little better, but
Oh,
if
yeah.
I'm going full strength soda, they're tough to beat. They got a blue one that's really fun. That definitely looks like it comes from nature.
I completely disagree. I
We got
cannot think of
pineapple.
one.
They got
no.
grapefruit soda.
No. Grapefruit soda, yes. I will fuck with as you know, we're both old white men, right? And we love Fresca. That was something we have in common?
Yeah, I'll rock a Fresca.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But I've never
There's,
tasted a good blue drink.
Nah, it's you know it's not it's a sometimes food, Cookie Monster style. But one of my kids is like, well, how do you how syrup? And I was like, oh, well, you do this, and they're like, we got a tree in our yard. I was like, we got a couple, and they're like, could we just do it on there? I was like,
Maple trees? You knew they were maple trees? You
I
took
do know
out
they're
your
maple
phone and you
trees
took a
'cause
picture?
no, because I was a Boy Scout and I know what leaf shapes mean.
Oh my god, you are a survivalist.
No, but I look the thing like the show Alone. We've talked about how I really like watching that. And the one day, my daughter was watching it with me, and she's like, "Daddy, I think you'd be really good on this show." It's like, "Oh, sweetie, nah, dog.
When
Daddy's
push comes
dead
to
on-
shove.
Daddy's dead on day 3." You know, like, look, if you and I are ever in an emergency situation, I got you for like a solid 2 days. We'll be okay. After that, I don't know, man.
If it's Cormac McCarthy's The Road, I'm not. Also, I don't want to get to that point. Where people are like,
No.
"What would you do?" Like in this situation,
Yeah, die immediately is what I
die
would do.
immediately.
So much
because
wrong with me, Ricky.
No, thank you.
Oh,
no,
I'm not
I mean,
making it 6 months into an apocalypse. You know.
no, because also you're probably like your biggest goal would just be like, okay, what? The world is crazy. Let me get as much gross soda and sugar in my body.
Mike did ask. We got another
Is
great comment
Baja
from Matt.
Blast
Boom, boom,
considered
boom.
blue?
We're bringing it up on screen. It's like a greenish blue. You know?
Teal, like a teal,
Yeah,
like a
and it
seafoam
kicks
green.
ass.
I would
The
say it's
fact
more
that-
green.
The fact that you can buy Baja Blast in stores does feel perverted to me.
Oh, Taco Bell. Yes, because it is locationally. I like where it's specifically that you had
I
to
only
go
want
to a
to drink.
place and
I
get it.
only want to drink Baja Blast while I'm eating Taco Bell.
With a disappointing wet taco. With a
Man.
gross lettuce.
Hey, keep Taco Bell's name out of your mouth. Taco Bell has been out here in these streets for the vegetarian community.
Oh, I
For a
have
long
never.
time.
You want to talk about getting weirdly angry about something? Anna not wanting crunchy fresh lettuce and wants me to squeeze it and make it gross and soppy and floppy. Guess what she doesn't like in her Taco Bell tacos because it's too gross and sloppy and floppy.
Is it their yucky
Lettuce.
Yeah, their lettuce sucks.
And
But
I'm
Taco
like-
Bell,
and
I
I-
love you.
When she said that, okay, so I get her tacos and I get just meat and cheese only for her tacos,
Their
and I
lettuce
brought
is
them.
bad.
I brought him home, and she opened it, and so crestfallen when she saw that there was like a piece of lettuce sticking out, and she's like, "Daddy, there's lettuce in here, and it's disgusting." And I held it in. I wanted to be like, "That's the kind of lettuce you like. Why not in this?" But whatever. I held back.
It's yucky.
But here's what pushed me over the edge: was when she said, "Did you not order it correctly?"
Ooh, is this your fault, Papa? Father?
And
have
then
you
I
wronged me?
said, "No, honey, I did. I told them no lettuce." And then she said, "So they just chose not to listen to you?"
Ooh.
And I was like, "You are on thin ice."
Anna would like to
right
speak to the
now."
manager, I think.
She Karen'd me like in that. She was basically saying, and I said to her, "I was like, are you saying they didn't respect me enough that when I
I
told them
love-
not to do something for a service that I'm asking to provide?" And she's just like, "Well, it's one of those two things. Either you ordered it wrong or they didn't care."
And who's more likely to fuck this up? dad, you, a goofy ass clown, or
Or the
taco
12-year-old.
professional.
Yeah.
They do this every day. They know what to put on tacos. You, an idiot that I don't respect, you're the one who messed this up.
Oh my gosh, Mike, you ate Taco Bell 4 times a week when
Oh,
you were a
that's too many times.
vegetarian.
It's
Is
amazing
that-
you're still alive, and I
is
love
that-
Taco Bell.
Is that why you no longer have an anus? Is
You got
because of
Baja
that
blasted
diet.
all the way
Yeah,
to
the
hell
butt.
after
So,
that.
Taco Bell is announcing, that's so weird, the confluence of all this, is announcing a new purple flavor, whatever drink, whatever it's not
Yeah,
purple
they
flavor,
rotate out
color.
some new
Yeah.
ones every once in a while. Baja
They're-
Blast and a cheesy gordita crunch with black beans instead of meat. Oh, it hits so good. You know,
Yeah, and your butt.
it hits your butt so good.
So some,
But I love that Taco Bell. Anytime I've dined in Taco Bells across this country, and
I think you're using that word wrong.
I've supped at a Taco Bell many a time, and every time I was like, "Hey, can I get that with black beans instead of the meat?" They just say yes. They do not mess it up,
Yeah.
and it's not like, "Oh, I don't." They're like, "Oh yeah, I gotta ask a manager how to ring that up." Where like some places will have a veggie burger, but it's like, "Hey, can I get this, but like with the mushrooms and cheese from this other thing?" And they're like, I don't know, man. There's not a button for that. But Taco Bell, it's like, "Hey, can I just get that with black beans instead of meat?" They're like, "Yep, boom. Here's your food that we made lovingly for you."
I said this yesterday to my friend. We're going to be at shop small business, whatever. Great. But you know what I hate about small businesses? That you don't have to deal with corporations like Taco Bell? Their
What's that?
political opinions or religious opinions. Where small businesses love to put that on Front Street because they own it and they're just like, yeah. Come to my little knick-knack shop. But
No, I mean, I do that. I'm a small business. I'm shouting opinions left and right.
yeah. I mean, Blue Sky, like, right? That it was a platform that was purely created to be its own box of opinions of a difference of opinion. To all be this, like, yeah. All right. I'm opening up way too big of a tab of a subject matter that would be its full-blown episode on its own. So
I do think it is weird. So I do a joke about there used to be a vegan deli in my town, and there was like a ton of vegan propaganda posters, but inside, and it's like, yeah, guys, I already agree with
I'm
you.
in
That's
here.
why I'm
in here. Yes.
I
I'm
know.
here. I know. Yes.
Maybe put a couple out there, and you probably drum up some more business. You know? If
Yeah,
You just
quit putting your marketing. You've decorated your business, and it's like Guns N' Roses having Guns N' Roses posters
Yeah. It's like, well,
at
yeah,
their
yeah,
concert.
fine.
It's like, yeah. But so, last episode, I couldn't remember the comedian that Tommy Davidson kicked off the weekend.
Yeah.
And I couldn't remember the porn star's name. And I am happy to announce that yesterday I wasn't spending the whole week looking things up and figuring it out. But it did just pop into my head. Alex Ortiz is the name of the comedian. You can look him up. He's considerably lost a good amount of weight, like I have. And I think he was military, maybe not firefighter. And the porn star was Jenna Hayes. So if anybody was wondering from last week,
I wasn't.
we've cleared it up. You weren't.
Mike
You
said-
didn't. You weren't.
I wasn't wondering. Mike
Okay.
says that Indian food is great for non-meat eaters, and he's correct. There's another place I go a lot when I'm on the road, because if you go to an Indian place and they don't have vegetarian options, you gotta go, man. Like Indian
yeah.
food is mostly vegetarian originally by default.
It's mostly chickpeas and cauliflower and
Yeah.
spices.
Oh, gotta get that aloo gobi, baby.
Oh yeah, I just had some
great.
of that last week.
So good. There's a really good Indian place in my town, and I don't like to gatekeep, but it is so close to my house that I feel like it's irresponsible of me to name them on this podcast. But if anybody's ever hanging out and you want to get some good Indian food, I'll tell you.
We should get some
But-
Indian food on the Daddy-O tour.
Ooh, I'll bring it to the Emmaus Theater on May 18th.
Oh yeah.
What was the
Well,
other
I
thing
think we
wanted?
gotta. Oh yeah, was there something else, or we wrap
Career
it up
Day.
and then?
yes. I want to wrap it up with Career Day and we can get out of here.
Oh,
My children's
because is it going to be
school-
positive, or are we leaving?
I think it's
Or are we
positive.
leaving on a cynical?
It's so important,
Okay.
as the whole study reminds you, got to stay positive. A joke I think I made last time we talked about ending on a positive note. My kids' school is doing career day, and I've
This is already ripe for material, I feel like.
yeah. It's like, well, I got one of those, but it is basically
Gotta get me one of those.
telling people about you two. So I'm trying to figure out if they want me to do it.
Oh, do a tight five?
There's like a form that I can fill out and send to the principal and be like, yeah, I'll come talk about being a professional comedian, but I don't know if my kids would want that to happen or not. So have you done career day at your children's school?
No. I
Would
just
you
did
do career day?
the PE and me.
Would you do career day to talk about being a comedian? And if so, what do you, because I feel like I want to do it because I love people.
I would
paying
probably be
attention to me.
filmmaker. I would probably do it as
Ooh,
being
yeah.
like as a filmmaker, and I think then I would put together a clip, like
And
a
then you would
best
show
of
them
clip.
all the most
Horror
messed
movies,
up
yeah.
horror stuff that you can.
Yeah, and never be invited back again.
Yeah. Like I want to do it if my kids are like, "Oh, we actually don't want you to do that." That's fine, I won't. But I don't know, like do you do a set? Is it just
I'd love
here's
that. Gosh,
here's how you find
so
Taco
good.
Bells in cities around the country so that you can, because they'll tell you they'll give you dinner, but it's just going to be chicken Kiev. You know, you're not going to want to eat that. You're going to want Taco
Well,
Bell.
I haven't been presented with career day yet, as Anna's in kindergarten, so it's probably a more of a first grade kind of thing. But last week she did do her first talent show. She did it during the day. She danced to "Welcome to New York," choreographed
Sick.
Taylor Swift song. I made her we got a T-shirt and I painted on it to make it look like an "I Love New York" shirt that she then I hand stitched. To talk about sewing, Velcro, so she could rip it at a certain
Hulk
moment.
Hogan
And she,
style?
yep. And the kids loved it. Revealed that she was wearing like a Taylor Swift era's like outfit. People lost their mind. They did it for the entire school during the day. I did just find out yesterday that a kid, to get under her skin, said, "I didn't even like your dance last week." And I was like, fuck that kid. Take him out back and shoot him. But
Yeah. Give me that kid's name for no reason.
you'll block him on
Yeah.
everything.
Before he has an account on social media, he's blocked.
That's awesome. Also, just clarify, I don't actually think we should take a kid out back and shoot him for that. He's probably done
We
other
should
worse
block
things.
him on social media, though.
Yes.
I think, 'cause that's what we should do.
Not block him from the rest of his life, but yes. But so they had a performance at
We're on
night,
Governor's Island.
but then he has to like run and he has to get elected if he's going to be on Governor's Island. And then
It's got to be pulled
So-
from office in disgrace.
we got to Anthony Weiner him like as quick as possible. So we go to the adult one. I had seen the clip of her doing it for the students, and Anna did phenomenal and great, and everyone loves her, and she's a little performer. And then we go to the nighttime one with Nana, which is my mother-in-law, Papa and Grammy, which is my parents, and both the boys, the twin 1-year-old boys. And my parents got there early, got front row seats. It's at this auditorium. It's in their gymnasium. There's a little stage. Anna, look in the program, she's like the 7th one up, which is great. The boys are being good, they're being attentive, they're actually really digging it. And then Anna gets announced, and that's when they start getting a little fussy. Anna comes out to the middle of the stage, clocks the audience, and immediately runs back into the wings. And I'm like, uh-oh.
Oh, no.
I was like, this is a hypothetical that I
Too
thought.
many?
Yeah, and it's not the kids, it's adults, and it's too much. And then she comes back on stage with Allie, tears steadily streaming down her face. And Allie's like, if you want to do it at the end of the show or later, you don't have to do it now. And she's crying hysterically, saying, but I want to. And so Allie's like, okay, then do it. And so then I, wearing a Dolly Parton t-shirt, run up, jump up on stage and say, hey, do you want to do it like we do at home, like a dance party at home? And she said, yeah. And so me,
You
Allie,
about
and
avoid
Anna,
her?
yeah, and we did it for maybe the first like 30 seconds until clearly Anna was in her element and not sad. And then Allie and I separated like the Red Sea and stood on the wings and then watched her destroy it
adorable.
and do amazing. And I have never for someone so much of just like, I want to take this pain away from you than I did in that moment, because I also was like, if she doesn't do this, she is gonna, I know her, she's gonna regret it.
Yeah.
It's gonna be later that night or the next day, and she's like, I'm ready to do it. And we're gonna be like, well, the show, like, you can't. So I'm so proud that she pulled through and she did it. But you watching Guardians of the Galaxy 3, how sad that made you, watching my
Yeah.
daughter cry.
Do you hate all Hugh Grant movies or just Love Actually?
Just Love Actually, and I like him in Love Actually. I
'Cause
actually like
that's-
Hugh Grant.
That's the end of the movie about a boy. Nicholas Hoult is doing the talent show, and he's like bombing. So then Hugh Grant comes out.
I also love Nicholas Hornsby, Nick Hornsby, the author who wrote
Nick
High
is short for
Fidelity.
Nicholas, I think it's fine.
Yeah, High Fidelity. Oh, did you know what I was talking about when? A High
I also
Fidelity
do,
is
but I think
one
we
of my
have
favorite
to, by
books.
law, being middle-aged white men. I think
Yeah.
we're
Have
we
to explain. We have to condescend to.
Yeah.
But
We
yeah,
have to
so
like Nick Hornsby.
career day, yeah, I would totally do it, and I'd probably ask Anna, I'd be like, well, what do you want me to come in and talk about? Being a comedian, being a filmmaker, like what? Like,
Yeah.
and I would put something together, and I would
I will
probably
ask my
spend
kids,
way
do you
too
want me
much
to talk
time.
about being a comedian, or do you want me to lie and make up a second job that I don't really have? Do you want to tell people I'm an accountant? I can,
That's awesome.
I can pretend.
Just cosplay.
Oh, that would actually be way more fun. It
That
would
would
be
be
so much
hilarious.
fun to
To
make
bid it.
up, because I do in the joke that I have about how I don't understand what other people's jobs are because they're boring. If I just make something up and just full on, are you familiar with the Turbo Encabulator? You should look it up after this. It is it's like a weird business improv thing that this guy did where he just straight up talks nonsense about this thing called the Turbo Encabulator that doesn't exist.
Okay.
He's making up part names and names for processes, and he will just go on and on and on for like 20 minutes about this thing. It is very funny. I want to do that at Career Day. I just want to make up a job that does not exist. It is just 4 words strung together. Like, oh yeah, I'm a safety training coordination instructor, and then just talk about that.
I would love to go in and make a lofty claim like I invented the Rube Goldberg machine, and then put one together based off of things in the room, and then hopefully the teacher would be like, "No, I'm pretty sure it's Rube
I
Goldberg,"
think Rube Goldberg. I think that's why
And I'd be
call
like,
him that.
and I'd be like, "What?" And he'd be like,
Just
she'd be
do
like, "Yeah."
the Mr. Evil speech. Be like, I invented the question mark.
Yeah, like I invented. So, Little Daddy-O's coming to Netflix. That'll be an episode of Little Daddy-O called Career Day. I'm into it.
We've been texting a little bit about Lil Daddy-O's, a thing we brought up last week. I'm like, genuinely, I'm on board fully. It would be so fun because they're babies, but also dads.
Well, I think we're going to call it because we're going to give Mr. Chris Kettler a call, and then hopefully that's securing another date on the Daddy-O tour. And hopefully within the next week, we will put out a poster and announcement of all the dates that we currently have booked, which will then hopefully steamroll and snowball into even more
Yeah,
dates.
it's on my list for things to do after this episode. As I figured I'd get the poster with the dates we have, and then just kind of keep adding to it as we go.
Let's wait until we get this one from Chris so we can have
now I
just
have
as
to
many.
since we know there's. I'm not gonna. I'm gonna do a poster 2 times. I'm
No.
having a hard time doing it the one time. That's why it's not already up there, bud.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Well,
wait.
you do a lot. I mean, just to be honest.
I'm
like-
out here making syrup.
I didn't mean like in life. Like I just meant like you do a lot for
Oh
us
no, I was
and the
laughing
hustle.
because I was laughing when you said that I do a lot because I don't.
I
I thought that was
disagree,
the
sir.
joke you were making.
I think you are quite handy, and I really appreciate. And I'm saying this to you as I type in stuff in my phone, which makes it
I
look
have
super
to know you,
condescending.
and Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Oh
like,
yeah.
yeah.
No, you do a great
Yeah,
job. Yeah,
we really
you're
appreciate the
fucking-
work that you're doing in the company here, and I'm gonna need that TPS report by Authenticator app. So I have the Authenticator app. So how do I?
These nuts.
Yeah, huh? Well, I'm not sure.
What are you
Okay.
trying to authenticate, you pervert? Finish the
Don't
show.
worry about it. Don't worry about it. Don't look. It's probably stuff. A lot of big words. It'd be like explaining how sewing machines
Mike says
work
I should
to you.
pretend to work for CERN, and I would love to because as a dork, I know enough about CERN and the Large Hadron Collider to convince 8-year-olds that I've at least been to it.
You think I should be friends with Tristan, Mr. Mike Flincham here? I think you two would get along and
All right,
have
fine,
some
we'll
real.
just trade friends.
We'll just
fine.
trade friends.
I'll stop being friends with Tristan. You stop being friends with Mike.
Sorry,
And then
can't
we
sir.
switch.
Been friends since like first grade. He was the first person before it was in a movie that told me
Oh,
how.
is he your Dan?
Uh
That's my friend
huh.
Dan.
I have a few Dans. I'm real fortunate to have that. But he told me how, because his dad's a nerd too, how Darth Vader was Anakin Skywalker and got pushed into a lava pit and whatever, and that's how he became Darth Vader. So this is
Yeah.
before the prequel movies happened, and I was just like, "What?" I was like, "That's amazing. Where? How do you know this?" He's like, "It's in books and stuff," and I was like, "Books? What are those?"
Ooh, what's a book?
Ew.
still not
Ew.
sure.
What's a book? Yeah.
Ew.
Oh. Well, thank you for listening to the Daddy-O Show. I'm Ricky Glore.
I'm Glenn Tickle.
And
I
remember,
do-
the
I got
U.S.,
that.
let's legalize comedy, guys. Let's just legalize
It's the
it.
Daddy-O Show.
I couldn't find the stop button. We did it.